What's up guys, welcome back to the gadgetry. Now you might have noticed that I haven't posted new content for quite some time. That's because I've been busy with other things such as my children and a hectic period at work. But now I'm back and I thought I'd give you an update on the video that I posted 3 months ago where I showcased my overheating problems of my 7700K CPU. It easily hit 90 plus degrees. So I actually tried quite a few of the recommended solutions in the comments section for that video. One of them, for example, was to add spacers for the CPU mount behind the motherboard. So I tried that one, and by doing so I actually bent a few pins on the back of the motherboard, so it broke. One of the RAM slots, I use all four, one of the RAM slots broke. So I first had to RMA the motherboard, but at the same time, since the computer still was offline, I sent in an RMA towards Intel. I described that it during overclock reached 90 plus degrees, and they actually accepted that RMA. So I sent the CPU in. About 2 weeks later I had received both the motherboard and the CPU, and when I reinstalled the CPU I also tried a different thermal paste. Previously I used the Arctic Silver 5, now I purchased the Arctic MX4 thermal paste. And the new CPU in combination with the new thermal compound actually greatly decreased the temperatures of my CPU. So now I'm happy and I can run the CPU on a V-core of 1.23 at 4.8 GHz. Previously I ran it at 4.8 but with a V-core of 1.3. So now I hardly hit 80 plus degrees. It's around between 70 and 80 during heavy loads such as Cinebench and 4K exports. So let me showcase what the temperatures looks like with the new CPU and the new thermal compounds. Still the same CPU cooler, it's the Kraken X62. And also let me give you a tour of my build and see what that looks like.
Let's start off by running Cinebench. Alright, we never reached a temperature below 70 degrees, 77 max and 75 max on the CPU. And a score of 1008. Let's try a 4K export as well in Premiere Pro. Right, so now it's exporting. We're actually seeing higher temperatures here. Alright, so let's cancel it there. I'm reaching temperatures slightly above 80 degrees, but I'm still super happy with this compared to the temperatures I had before, where we could see 95, 96 degrees here. So this is where the magic happens. Let's see, should we start above or below the desk? Let's start above here. So my screen, the screen that I'm using is the X-Star DP2710 glossy screen. It's one of these Korea monitors, 1440p resolution. I bought it a couple of years ago and I'm still super happy with it. I'm running it at 97 Hz, so it's slightly overclockable, and I get those really nice images when I play games on this one. So it's glossy, so you can see that it's reflecting a little bit, but when it's darker you don't notice that. For the keyboard I'm using the Corsair Strafe MX Silence with additional O-rings applied beneath the keycaps. It's still quite loud. I like the looks of this keyboard, but it's still quite loud actually, especially when you have small children sleeping in the apartment as well. For the mouse I'm using the Corsair M65 PRO RGB. I'm really happy with that one, it has a nice feel to it. I'm also using the Polaris RGB mouse mat, also from Corsair. So full Corsair setup here for the keyboard, mouse and mouse mat. And the speakers that you see here is the Bose Companion 5, I think it is, 3 or 5. It's fairly old, but it sometimes when you're not using the headset, it's nice to listen to music this way as well. And on the wall here you can see that I've got a signed Battlefield 4 mouse mat with some of the developers of that game. And Mass Effect Andromeda, that's the last game I bought. I've actually finished that one now, so I need to look for something else to play besides PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So I actually had to remove the tempered glass panel to get rid of all the reflections, so we could see the components properly. So the case that I'm using is the NZXT S340 Elite. I quite like that one because it's an ATX chassis, and it's the smallest one I could find, so it's a compact ATX chassis that looks really nice with this tempered glass panel. So if we take a look inside here, I've got the, of course, the 7700K CPU, the Asus Strix Z270E motherboard, 32 GB of Corsair memory running at 3000 MHz. And in here we can also see the 500 GB Samsung 960 EVO NVMe M2 SSD. It's super fast. And this is the Asus GTX 1080 Advanced. So it's not the gaming nor the OC version, so it's the one in between. Here you can see two Samsung 850 EVO 500 GB SSDs. I actually run these two in RAID 0. My performance when I copy files, for example, from the 960 to the RAID array consisting of these two disks is super fast. I get about 1 gigabyte per second when I copy large multi-gigabyte files. So I've never seen such speeds before that. I'm running the NZXT Hue to control the lighting around the corners inside the chassis to get that nice ambiance during the evenings when it's dark inside the room here. For the headset I'm running the Steelseries 7H, I believe they're called. I actually tried the Steelseries Arctic 5, but I was super unhappy with those. The sound, the bass and the treble was horrendous and really flat, lacking dynamics in the sound. These ones have are a few years old, but they're still way ahead of the Arctic 5, also from Steelseries. And here you can see the subwoofer as well, and my poor cable management behind here, so let's not focus on that. So yeah, if you have any questions around this build, please let me know in the comments below as well. Right guys, so that was a quick update from me and how I resolved my overheating problems with my 7700K Kaby Lake processor. That would also be my recommendation to you guys, to actually RMA it and try a different thermal paste. I hope you enjoyed my build. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please click that like and subscribe button and follow me going forward. See you next time.